after 60. How to turn on a female friend in 3 minutes flat. Most older men think turning on a woman is about effort, being charming, clever, smooth, or bold. But the truth is almost the opposite. Women, especially friends who already trust you, don't respond to pressure. They respond to how you make them feel inside their own skin. And sometimes, all it takes is a shift in your energy, not your words, not your performance, to spark something she wasn't expecting. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Vernon again. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 ways how a man after 60 can create instant attraction in just a few minutes. Not by trying harder, but by understanding the emotional triggers women respond to naturally. This isn't manipulation. It's alignment. It's learning how to bring out the version of yourself that makes her feel safe, seen, and subtly drawn in. If these kinds of insights help you understand connection in a deeper way, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications we share each week. The issue. Let's begin with the first shift that changes her whole perception of you before you say a single word. Number 1. Observing her signal. How to read her body language. At this age, attraction doesn't begin with physical touch or bold flirting. It begins with awareness. A woman's interest is almost always revealed through small, subtle signals, long before she ever says a word, and a man who knows how to read those cues. When you pay attention to her body language, you're not making a move, you're showing emotional intelligence, and that alone can make her feel drawn to you in ways she didn't expect. Start with the simplest thing, how she positions herself around you. A female friend who feels a spark will naturally angle her body toward you. Even when she tries to hide it, her feet point in your direction, her shoulders soften, and she instinctively leans in a little closer when you speak. She may not fully realize she's doing it, but her body does the talking long before her words catch up. A woman who's indifferent keeps her distance. A woman whose interest is waking up will reduce that distance without thinking. Another sign is in her eyes and timing. When a woman looks at you a second longer than necessary, or her eyes drift to your hands, your chest, or your mouth before she looks away, she's signaling curiosity, not commitment, not certainty, but an openness she may not show to anyone else. Women rarely stare directly when they're attracted. They glance, retreat. That rhythm is deliberate. The hesitation is the giveaway. Her fidgeting also speaks volumes. Adjusting her hair, touching her necklace, smoothing her blouse, or playing with her sleeve often means she's suddenly aware of how she appears in your presence. That awareness is one of the earliest markers of feminine interest. The shift from being just friends to something a little warmer, a little more alive. Reading her body language isn't about decoding a mystery. It's about showing that you're present enough to notice her. Not in a hungry way, not in a forceful way, but in a calm, rounded, masculine way that makes her feel seen without being pressured. The issue when you recognize those signals with quiet confidence, the next step becomes effortless. It's about responding in a way that lets her feel the spark without either of you forcing it. Number 2. Conversation tip. Words that create interest. When the woman you're drawn to is a longtime friend, the shift from friendly comfort to subtle attraction happens through the smallest changes in conversation. You don't need clever lines or rehearsed charm. In fact, those usually backfire. What creates interest, especially after 60, is the way you make her feel during the conversation. Women are deeply responsive to tone, pacing, and emotional presence, not to performance. The first technique is to slow the conversation down. Most men rush when they feel nervous, but slowing your voice, your pauses, and your responses, a calm conversational rhythm makes her lean in literally and emotionally. It tells her you're comfortable with the moment, and that comfort pulls her in more than any flirtatious line could. Issue. Instead of casual questions, ask things that show you truly see her. What's been on your mind lately? What's something you've been wanting to do for yourself? These aren't romantic questions. They're intimate in the emotional sense. They shift the conversation from small talk to connection. A female friend feels something stir inside her when she realizes you're not just hearing her. You're paying attention in a way other people don't. Then comes reflective language, the kind that mirrors her feelings back to her without trying to fix or analyze her. The issue when she shares something vulnerable and you say, "That sounds like it meant a lot to you," or "I get why that would stay with you," she feels understood, and emotional understanding is one of the strongest triggers of attraction for women at any age. Finally, there's the subtle shift in how you compliment her. Friendly compliments talk about appearance, but the kind that spark something deeper highlight who she is. You always bring a calm energy into the room. You have a way of making people feel safe talking to you. Those words reach a place inside her that she didn't expect you to notice, and that's where interest begins. Issue, you're not trying to seduce her with words, you're showing her that you see her, not just as a friend but as a woman with depth, warmth, and presence. Have you ever noticed how the smallest shifts in conversation can change the way two people feel around each other? I'd really like to hear your thoughts or your own experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else understand the power of connection a little better. The issue once she feels that shift in your conversation, the next step becomes almost natural, the way you use subtle physical cues to build a quiet, undeniable spark. Number 3. Subcon gestures, nonverbal cues that spark chemistry. A close friend, the difference between just friendship and a quiet spark, rarely comes from bold moves. It comes from subtle gestures, the kind that slip under her guard and make her suddenly aware of you in a different way. You women respond deeply to nonverbal cues, especially when they already trust the man in front of them. These small, understated signals awaken a sense of closeness that doesn't feel forced, awkward, or inappropriate. Start with your proximity, not crowding her, not hovering, but reducing the distance just slightly when the moment feels natural. The issue, sitting a little closer than usual, leaning in a bit when she speaks, or standing near enough for her to feel your presence without touching her. These are cues she notices immediately. They're quiet, but they shift the emotional temperature. A woman feels it before she even realizes eye contact. Not a stare, not an appraisal, but a slow, steady kind of attention that shows you're fully present with her. When you hold eye contact just a breath longer after she finishes a sentence, it sends a message. You're tuned in, you're connected, and you're not rushing the moment. The issue for a female friend, this can be the instant she feels something soften inside her. A warmth, a curiosity, a pull she didn't expect. Another subtle gesture is the quiet use of touch, but only in the gentlest, most respectful form. A brief hand on her arm when she laughs. A soft tap on her shoulder when you greet her. A light touch on her back as you guide her through a doorway. These moments don't invade her space. They acknowledge it. They signal stability, warmth, and a kind of masculine presence that many women respond to instinctively. A friend's touch often feels familiar, but a slightly more deliberate touch feels new, and that contrast is where chemistry begins. Finally, your body orientation speaks volumes. Turning your torso fully toward her, angling your hips instead of keeping them closed off, or mirroring her posture without overthinking it. These cues tell her, "I'm here with you in this moment." Women feel these shifts immediately, and they often feel them more intensely than words. These gestures don't force. They invite something, a softness, a curiosity, a rise of feminine energy she didn't expect to feel around a friend. If that unspoken chemistry starts to form, the next moment becomes even more powerful. Number 4. The mindset shift. Confidence and presence matter. Most long before a woman feels physical attraction, she feels a man's mindset at this age. The most magnetic thing you can bring into any interaction, especially with a female friend, is a calm, rounded, inner world. The issue, women don't respond to desperation, performance, or effort. They respond to the quiet certainty of a man who knows who he is. When your mindset shifts from "how do I impress her" to "I'm comfortable in my own skin," everything about your presence becomes more compelling. Confidence after 60 isn't loud or showy. It's the way you sit without fidgeting, the way you speak without hurrying, the way you let silence exist without trying to fill it. A man who is at ease with himself naturally creates emotional tension, because a woman feels the strength of someone who doesn't need validation to feel whole. That steadiness becomes deeply attractive, especially to a woman who is used to men either over-pursuing or over-explaining themselves. Presence is the second half of this shift. Women can tell instantly when a man is scattered or insecure, where his mind jumps, his attention drifts, his energy collapses. But when you're fully present with her, something settles in the space between you. You listen with your eyes, not just your ears. You respond thoughtfully instead of reacting quickly. You let the moment unfold rather than trying to push it somewhere. That presence creates a kind of emotional gravity she feels in her body before she ever names it. This mindset shift also removes pressure from both sides. You're not trying to win her, you're not afraid of losing her. You're simply showing up as the most centered version of yourself, and that alone can awaken a woman's interest far more powerfully than flirtation. Women respond to the way a man makes them feel, and a confident, grounded presence makes her feel safe and alive at the same time. You're not manipulating her, you're elevating the energy of the interaction, and she feels it immediately. When you look at all of this together, the signals you notice, the way you speak to her, the subtle gestures you offer, and the mindset you carry, it becomes clear that creating attraction after 60 is not about chasing, performing, or proving anything. It's about presence. A woman doesn't fall for a man because he tries hard. She feels drawn to him because he makes her feel safe, seen, and softly awakened in her own femininity. These moments aren't dramatic, and they don't require bold moves. They happen in the spaces between words, in the tone of your voice, in the steadiness of your energy, and in the quiet confidence you bring into the room. A female friend responds to what she feels, not what she's told. When she senses your grounded masculinity, your calm awareness, and your genuine interest in who she is, her guard lowers naturally. She becomes more open, more curious, more receptive, not because you forced anything, but because something in you allowed her to relax into the moment. And that's what makes it powerful. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Feel free to like the video, share it with someone who might enjoy these quiet insights, and subscribe with notifications turned on so you can join me for more conversations like this each week. I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching my video till now, and see you next time.